It's a model I made to help me work out the end. I've got a flower, which is sort of like a bell flower with a little cylinder at the back here, and the stalks of these buds coming out here and lifting up onto the flowers. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to work that, but this is the important bit here. So a couple of things that strike me immediately is how low this is to the background, and also how thin this way. It's only a few stalks, so it can't be very thick. So this is going to be a weak point, but we can work around that. The second thing is how this plane of the flower leans back. So the flower is leaning back. So before we put any of this in, we've got to get this whole plane leaning back. And of course, here is a high spot on the surface of the wood, and it drops round in a sort of ellipse, the edge of the flower around here. So those are the first things we need to look at, this ellipse, the high spot, and getting this plane down here. Turning to the actual wood here, the line of the stalks is coming up to this corner here. So I know that's the line, and we're going to draw that out here, so when I lose this corner I've still got a reference. I know this level here is a high spot, like so. So the cylinder is somewhere here, but it is leaning back, so it probably comes somewhere about here. And then from here it's coming down, and this is coming down to meet it as I create that plane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking a bit of wood down here. Now I know this has got to come lower here because the stalks are heading through into the flowers. Let me just do something a little bit. Take some of this off. So this whole part is going to be adjusted. I think you can see the flower be somewhere in there like that. So the top of the flower is coming around and will be going underneath there like that on both sides, that sort of cylinder. So I'm trying to get a sense of that. The stalks coming in here aren't really much bigger than my thumb, so there's a lot of wood to come away from this part. So I'm going to use a mallet and chop down. And I'm also going to bring it along here so that this doesn't drop down suddenly but swoops down quite gently. So there's wood to be taken away on this side here and on this side here to thin it. But the important thing is as we go round here, remember two things, one of which is that these stalks will go into the flower, so this will be hollowed, but also the edge of the flower will come underneath the stalk, so don't cut it off short, allow for a bit of the petal to come round and underneath there. Now I've got these stalks thinned and lowered, and this is leaning back, I can draw in what I think is going to be this ellipse of this flower, and it's going to come round and underneath these stalks. It'll be something like this. That's my swing. Of course, I need to do both the same on each side, and the line is going to come through here. That's the line of the stalks coming through onto that corner still. So I'm going to start taking this wood away. As you come down to the background here, wood doesn't always come away from the paper at the back, but just do the best you can for the moment. This is only a roughing out. What I will do is I'm going to find a tool that will give me an amount of curvature here and set in the edge a bit like this. I'm going to get in the way of the camera in a minute, I can sense that, but I'm going to come round here and we're going to pick up another tool that will give me this edge here. So basically I'm setting in the edge, and it's coming beyond the end of the stalks, and this, of course, as I keep saying, will be hollowed in, so the stalks will go into that flower. So don't make this too low or too steep an angle, or else you'll be ending up in the board at the back. So let's get that edge set in, and then we can turn to shaping up the back. Now, start taking wood away from here. here we are with both ends roughed out. I've tried to make them fairly similar, but they are flowers. And I can see how my model has really helped. This area here I've thinned, and here, and also changed the slope. So I started with a big block of wood, but I am losing wood because, as I've said earlier, I think I make it up a bit as I go along. So I've got this nice flow going round coming out. It's still sloping this way, so the high spot is down here and slopes back. And the next stage is to start thinking about the flowers in the middle and what sort of size. Now we can really see the shape. Do we want flowers that are, say, this big, or this big, or even smaller? So the next stage is to start thinking about the flowers in the middle, and then we'll work back towards these ends.